for some reason. But we're back. And as I mentioned, we are continuing. It's not like we're just going to stop. So I hope it's working. I hope you can see and simply listen to me because yeah, it should be working right now. Okay, so we continue. Switch, don't be back, don't switch us off because it's what we want to do. We want to continue. And okay, let's continue. As I said. Okay, so the oak. We're having the oak here, and this little tree. This is the druid tree, the royal oak, the royal tree. And this tree is very, very highly sacred for the druids. And in Britain-land, the oak was the primary chieftain tree held above all others named the year. The oak is an exceptionally strong wood and the most famous of the trees. They have long been considered a symbol of the Britain, drawn from the days of their special significance to the druids and their special use in making of ships for the Elizabeth Navy. Okay, what else we have about the oak? The oak tree is also inseparable from the ancient tradition of the Oak King, a symbol of male sovereignty and the fertility god of the green world. The lessons drawn from the Houghton comes the purpose for energy and the development, the right use of the power earned from rising to the challenge of the goddess, the primary purpose of kingship to protect and provide for the people via the responsible use of power and energy. Sovereignty in the individual runs along the same lines. The power doer means door, as well as oak tree and oak groves are the places where the other world, the sky world, and the world of the earth meet. Thus the oak tree are guardian spirits of extraditional, providing the ability of shamanic fight between the worlds and encouraging spiritual development. At the same time, they provide stability and strength for the people. They are the father figures and the guardians of the sojourner. The Oak King, being the god of fertility, is also the king of the sun. This probably harks back to the oak representing the god of the sun in the early pre-Druidic tradition, as the sun god rose and fell through the season to rise again in the winter solstice. As such, the oak is the half of the god's dual nature, the other half being the Holy King, the hunter god of the winter and the underworld. Okay, what else we have? Um, Oaks are also sacred to Uriens, the Celtic god of the suns and the lightning, as well as the Celtic Jupiter, marking where energy from the other worlds meet our physical Earth. Elsewhere, the oak is sacred to Zeus, Jupiter, and Thor, who are the gods of the lightning. Oak trees has been hit with the lightning artists, especially magical and of the great Druidic significance. However, oaks are also sacred to the goddess Bridget, whose sanctuary at Kildare in Ireland was originally an oak grove and got its name from the Silly Dara, the church of the oak tree, as a beacon of Christianness in the Celtic faith. In the magical use of the other magical parts of oak tree are the acorns. The phallic shape they have been used in the love and the fertility magic for millennia, as well as being used as a focus of power and the wands and staff by many ancient pagan cults. Lovers used to place acorn in a bowl of the water to see if they would stay together. If they drifted apart, so would the couple in due time. Another spell from the 14th century to prevent unfaithfulness in wives was to place two halves of an acorn under the woman's pillow. Aqua necklaces are worn during magical working to contact the oak great strength and sovereignty, as are oak leaves. They are useful for contacting the hunter gods and goddesses as well as these connected to the lightning. Apple, oak leaves, and the bark can also be burned as an incense, either alone or in blend, for empowering divination, healing, journeying, or for love and demonic magic. These are always more powerful if they are charged by the tree and the tree spirit works with you. The talismans of oak inscribed with the name of Tyrannis can help protect against sun and the lightning. Oaks are magically also connected to mysteries of the mistletoe, which Roman writer Pliny recorded as being ritually cut from the tree at the winter solstice with golden, probably bronze sickle. The mistletoe, as the symbol of the sun god or king, was both sacrificed and reborn to bring fertility back to the land with the distant spring. Oak is an extremely durable and cross-grained wood. At the first 100 years of growth, it grows very slowly, which makes it strong and long-lasting. Traditionally, it is used to make bridges and the water bridge as well as the houses. The oak bark was a valuable resource for the dyes, and infusion of the oak bark and copper was used by the Scottish Highlanders for beautiful purple dye. Okay, what else? Okay, so Ogham definition linked with this one. As an Ogham dewar, the oak, it implies and teaches strength and security and ability to sustain growth over lengths of time and through varied circumstances. It helps and encourages you to open the doors of your perception and enter into initiatory experience that allows you to do more and be more than you were before and assimilate with this new way of being. It's a symbol of growth in many ways, materially, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually, yet the connection in yourself between earth, sky, divinity, and the matter. As the organ of sovereignty, it encourages the right action and being fully present and conscious of your actions, embodying awareness and nobility. That is the most important tree here is a fan. And we start together with the rowan. And as I mentioned before, if you want a reading, you may follow us, and once you follow us, we'll check it, and then you will simply get your reading. You have one free question for your reading, and if you use it, we ask you to actually make a donation. And if you make a donation, let us know, and then we can make many, many readings over here. And I will be back in a second. My voice sometimes needs um, a little break. And I'm also trying to check everything I can during the time because it's hard to be alone and doing everything. But okay, we're getting back. We are having now the holly. The holly is going to be red. into Mercury to actually make it stronger so it doesn't dry out. And we are getting to the third one. This is the whole. Again, it's similar. They are just different. This was the alder and the holly having similar symbols. Why the symbols are changed by type. So holly. We have the first one, and this one is going to go over here. According to the Berhan Lab, the holly is one of the 7 chieftain trees called Uriens. The word "tine" means ingot or molten metal and is also related to the Old Irish "tant" meaning strong. And the Irish and Scot Gaelic words for the fire "taine" as well as the modern Irish "tine". The holly was used by the Druids, especially during the solstice fires. It was among the hottest of all trees and it made particularly good charcoal. It was preferred fuel for the blacksmith fires uh, when it was burned for making of the swords, and another clue to its first nature. The holly is of course synonymous with the Holy King in the ancient figure popular in medieval times, yet reminiscent for the far area gods of the hunts and the antler gods, such as Cerberus, the lord of the underworld, the god of the winter. He is the shadowy counterpart of the Old King, which has the dominion over the other half of the year. These two are in eternal symbolic struggle, ritually, and in many traditions. When the Old King wins and brings fertility to the land during the summer solstice, and then the Holy King wins his victory and brings the winter months. So they are constantly fighting. This also is something important to learn in general as the story of the gods and the two kings. Okay, what we have for the holy. Holy wreaths were used during the Roman festivities of Saturnalia to honor the god Saturn, known in the Greek as Cronus. Saturn, like the Holy King, was agricultural god, but was also associated with the Old Age and is known as Old Father Time. This is the god of the underworld again, the god of the hearth fire, richer than the fields under the summer sun. Saturnalia took place originally at December, covering the winter solstice, and it was minor precursor to the Christian festival of Christmas, with the reverse gift-giving and the feasting being in the central features. Saturn and the Cronus, as the gods of the winter solstice, are of course akin to the Holy King himself, and the old man of the winter holding forth into the spring. The magical uses. The holy ability to endure through the winter and rise the life force. Revere is also a tree of passion and is useful for love and long-term commitment spells. A holy charm bring husband or wife is made by placing 9 holy leaves collected with a clear intent and permission at midnight in a square of a white cloth. Make a libation to the holy tree and observe complete silence during their collection and wrapping, and then they should be kept under the pillow for at least a month. Men carrying holy leaves were said to be irresistible to women, perhaps because they were carrying the energy of the Holy King or the antler gods with their robust and dark sexuality. Holy is magically very protective, particularly during the winter months, when the appearance of its red berries shows its heightened life force enough to last through the cold barren season. This is why the tradition placed holy wreaths on the front doors at the winter solstice to lend its great fiery and fertile energy to the house. Holy wands are good for protection and used in the spells for legal success or things concerning competition that can also encourage a swift resolution of a student manifestation. Burning holy leaves as an incense is also useful for legal spells protection and to lend courage and endurance to attract success in any project. Holy is also useful for sexual magic, especially between already established partners, between which they may help to rekindle desires. Hung over the bedpost or burned as an incense will help to raise the life force and libido. Dreaming of holy is said to reveal the source of your problems and to encourage you to deal with your darker and more difficult emotions. Again, this connection to the underworld. And in the divination, as you may say, it's only as an Ogham time, the holy concern the rising of internal energy to endure through difficulties and melt through the snow of winter in the life of the soul. Everyone at the times goes on a period of hardship, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. The holy encourages you to rise over life force and ensures the energy make it through the bright illumination to all darkness, raising the kundalini to the new heights. This is the robust of passion energy akin to the hunter gods and the guardians of the underworld. The Holy Spirit lends its seasoned and experienced qualities to aid the soul in making through the spring. So this is the whole. I have two more for this group, and we're just getting more and more here. So we're getting the next one. The next one is Hazel. So Hazel, and we're getting Hazel over here and writing it. Just gonna... Tutaj tak śmierdzi, wiesz, że nagrywasz się. Ale ty za chwilę, jak ty mi cały dom nie zbiła. Mury. Okay, I am sorry, I'm not sure if you are hearing me or not, but I had to leave for a second. And I am getting back. So we can continue with this one. So we have now the hazel. The hazel is getting 4 lines. We are getting the hustle one. This one is here. This is This is how the ones are looking like. And we're passing it over here. So we have the hustle. As I mentioned, we are simply making the lines for now. And if you want a rating, as I mentioned, please follow us. Then write your question. And if you use already your free question for following, then we'll ask you to donate a little bit, however you wish, or you're comfortable to, and you will get free questions to ask. And okay, so the hustle. Hustles are synonymous with the pursuit of fighting and druidic wisdom in the Celtic tradition. This is the kind of poetry that are not only closely concerned with writing stanzas and preserving the Celtic lore, but also with attainment of divine knowledge that is quite shamanic in nature, an awareness of all things. And the Irish oracle poets, the Fili, were renowned magical practitioners and the seers. The Hazel is said to hold all the wisdom, the Alvan or Imbas, divine inspiration which is not. They were consumed in the legend by the sacred salmon of wisdom, the oldest and the wisest of all animal spirits, which dwell in the Conlar's Well near Tipperary in Ireland, as recorded in the Dinsenach. The Irish tale tells us that the hazel and the apple were two trees that incurred the death penalty to those who were felled them illegally, a sign of their deep importance, practicality, and as well spirituality. Both the apple and the hazel were also placed together as both being associated with the oak in the great tree of Magma, one of the five most sacred trees in Ireland, which was said to embody the qualities of all three and whose roots drank from the waters of Conla's well, alongside with the sacred hazels and the descent deep into the underworld. In the British folklore, particularly in the southwest, the silver snakes are said to surround hazelwoods. It is the vibrant life force, its even the ability to be connected and understand all things as swift as a thought. It is said to be under rulership of the Mercury, where there are many connections between the Hazel and the god Mercury Hermes, who oversees the matter of communication and knowledge. Both these messenger gods carry a Hazel staff, and sometimes the scepter with the ribbons or silver snakes wrapped around it. The silver snakes become the Cassidius, the symbol of the healing art still used today. As for the magical uses, the Hazel links to wisdom and inspiration that leads to the Hazel wands used for divination and magic. The wishing wands of the Teutonic legends were also made of Hazel. Hazel is also traditionally choice for dowsing roots. A dowsing root is usually a forked Hazel, the two forks representing the snakes or the dual forces of life and death, here and there so often associated with the Hazel. Dowsing root can help detect lines of the earth energy. The snake the snakes are across the plant like the veins. They are sometimes known as a dragon claws or ley lines that bring health or illness as well as attract many spirit presences. As a hazard are sacred to the Irish god of love, Onus, who has already discussed and carried a hazard rod. They are used in many love and fertility spells. They are in all traditional folk spells of observing the movement of hazelnuts in the water or in flames to predict success or failure of relationships. The spell involves wrapping hazel flowers, catkins, in a green or pink cloth and carrying them close to your heart before reciting an incantation to your love and then burning the package in the heart over a pink or green candle. Hazelnut necklaces are thought to bring good luck into the house. and have been found in the prehistorical tombs, probably serving as an amulet as well as in decoration. In the Bardic ritual called Dicher de Chennai, or cracking of the noose of the wisdom, hazelnuts might have been chewed to induce poetic or magical inspiration and insight, again perhaps giving insight into honest words that the hazel is friend of the nutshell. So this is pretty one for this one. And the divination and the meaning in the divination. So, as an Ogham, the core of the Hazard suggests that the time of divine inspiration is at hand. Challenges have been endured, and finally radiant light breaks through the clouds and illuminates everything with a meaning and a beauty. This is the purpose of the stories of poetry, poetry written upon all existence, to reveal the divine spark in our souls. By living in connection with our own souls, our inner and outer lives become gradually aligned, and we become able to see our place in infinity, and it's a beautiful and awe-inspiring experience. Yet, like the hazelnut, all this potential is held in a single point of the individual until such time when it can be digested and become manifest in the world. Thus we find the balance between the self and the creation, and are able to draw upon all as we choose. Often the result of joyful surrender to the wider all, illumination ultimately this signifies both the pursuit and purpose of wisdom. Your evolution is at hand. So this was the hazel, and I suppose we're getting the last one for this group now. Let me see. Yeah. The last one here is apple, and that's quite interesting. And okay, we're getting back to the apple. So let me place them together. And after that we have the apple. I have the apple one. So 5 lines. Apple. And that's the last one for this group, and that group also will give you some sort of information. And I will, after I finish with the apple, I will look how much we have still to do. Okay, so the apple. According to the Brahman Law, apple was one of the 7 chieftain trees. The letter Q for Kuwait is non-existent in Old Irish, however Kuwait has been interpreted as referring to an Old Irish word "stair, peak" or "rock". as in reference to wandering lunatics or recurring motif in Celtic myth. Alternatively, quert was also taken to refer to ku, meaning wolf or hunt, synonymous for the warrior. This is the name actually. The quote is actually made of apple in general, and this connects apple with the Kaila, the old veiled one, the goddess as a crown, in whose hand the human soul is taken from the mortal world to return again renewed. One of her symbols is the five-pointed star, a pentagon which can be seen in an apple when it's held with waves, as and is a testimony to the apple's profound magical nature. The word Ogham of Moraine has the apple shelter of lunatics. Lunatics like the cow and swinesharks in the Celtic literature and oral tradition occupy the mystical position as they were often shape changers and beings of power responsible for the protection of the tribe's wealth. Associated with the immortality and otherworldly paradise, apples are ultimately symbol of vision as well and wellness, reminding us of our divine nature, our perfection in the eyes of the gods. Magically, it eyes perception of all kinds and links with madness, revealing how our notions of reality are mutable projections. To have these notion changes can induce a crisis, but sometimes able to lead someone with a broader sense of the world than before. Potentially they live an individual capable of communing with the beings of all kinds and able to perceive the gods as the consciousness of the planet as a whole. Of course, the transition might be painful, even tragic, as the honest word, Greek andouille, substance of an insignificant person. To step out of the ordinary consciousness might also mean stepping outside of the society and losing the respect and protection that it affords. The path of lunatics and the path of the visionary might be equally lonely and hard. Yet in magic of the apple the challenge and the substance are one and the same, for the traveller is able to draw from the well of the spirit and receive nourishment from the otherworldly source. Apple in popular are kindly wood to use for the wand, and is especially useful for healing and love spells. Both the fruit and the blossom are used to symbolize love, beauty, and immortality, and are commonly used in incenses to make a simple perfume. Apples are also used in divination. The methods are varied by burning apple pipes after assigning each one with the potential lover's name and throwing apple peel over the left shoulder to see if it forms a person's initials are both ancient ways to reduce the parallel entrapment over the passage of time. The apple placed under the pillow are asked with the intent to eye the questioner and the powerful technique to induce the prophetic dreams. There is an old Scottish tradition of eating an apple at Samhain whilst looking into a mirror, and it's said you will see the person you want to marry over your shoulder. Okay, I guess that's all about the apple, and now the meaning for that one. As I mentioned, that is the apple here. As Ogham the apple works with the connection between mind and body and spirit, aiding the seeker in the quest for wellness. It is a good magical symbol to aid in seeking inspiration from dreams or otherworldly connection, reminding the seeker of the continual connection with the otherworldly paradise and their inner divinity. It suggests to help in operating from right action coming from the inner sense of wellness and returning to wellness. The divination in suggests that right action can be found when acting from a sense of vision and goodness, kindness to the self and to the others, as well as generosity and compassion and timeless heal us that leads the soul to the wisdom. So that is the apple, that is the last one here, and now we are going to make some sort of an divination related to that again. And as I mentioned before, if you want a free reading, follow us. And then for that, I will check, and once you're already following us, you can get your free reading. If you use your free reading, we ask you to make a little short donation so we can actually contribute more for this project, and you will also get more questions for you. So we're going back and let me see. This one is going to be about this. So we're getting to archetypes again. Which archetype this group of trees wanted to work with? That may be something useful. We're going to go with this one. Each tree is going to have, well, not each tree, but each group of trees is going to have some more cards. To know what you need to learn from them and what they want you to work on. That might be something helpful. So we are here. Okay, this one actually is quite interesting. The first card here is the Starborn. So your connection to the stars, your original self, whatever you feel like your starseed connection for some. It can be also connecting with the universe in general, connecting to bringing much of energy here to the stars, to your seed, the seed that you are the seed of the universe. You are connected with the universe, and you want to actually see this universe inside of you. You are stable. You have the power to create. You have the power to change and bring changes as you please. So this is your starborn. And if you want, that's your starborn card. You want to learn more about that. You want to work with that at the first place. And then we have the life purpose card, the freedom card. So you need to remember that you are free. You need to remember that nothing can stop you. You are free. You are the universe. You have the power to create. And you are making your own decisions, no one else. So you are literally free. You need to find that freedom inside of yourself. And to do that, you need to connect with the soul of the universe. So all these cards are connected with the universe at some point. You're feeling these sounds, you're feeling this, you're seeing the universe, you're connecting with the universe, and the universe is all about the frequency, and because of that, you want to actually connect with it, deal with it, and find your connection to the universe, to the wellness. And these trees will be actually assisting you in doing that if you want to, and if you feel ready for that. So that were my trees, the second group of the trees. And I am just going to take the cards and look what else we have here for these trees and how many groups we still have, because making of that is taking quite a long time, and I just want to be sure I will finish everything before I have to go. Okay, okay, I will try to make my best. We have 3 groups here, and we just finished 2, and that took us 2 hours. That's pretty much of time. But okay, I will try my best. Now we have a blackberry. And the blackberry is coming here. we're cutting blackberry. This is the blackberry. It's a very interesting one, I need to say. So, I just going to seal it again. I'm just going to go with my fingers, going to be faster a bit. And that's not toxic, so I can use that in my skin. That is blackberry. So we're going with the blackberry. The blackberry or bramble patches are often linked in the folklore with the fairies, and in the French, eating blackberries is often to be considered taboo as it was kept for the fruit for the fairies alone. There is still a tradition in the parts of the Britain that berries should not be picked after Samhain, October 31st, as these belong to the Fae and should not be taught. The blackberry patches are vast communities for being of many kinds, both fairy and animal, as they provide excellent food and shelter as well as protection by its many thorns. The blackberry has strong life force, is central and important power plant in the Celtic tradition. The blackberry winters, when the dew on the blossom gets frozen in the spring, are said to be signs of an abundant harvest to come, revealing their intimate relationship to the people of the land. Many other things in life have also this quality, and it's essential aspect of maturity for the individual to learn. And dreams, talents also need to be harvested and at the appropriate time and used appropriately. Concerning all things that needs to be released when their time has passed. Discernment is also required here, as not all the berries are safe or ready to eat, and not all paths and choices in our life are good to take. The blackberry's extremely strong life force means it can bear flowers and fruits at the same time, and almost miraculous feast of the extreme fertility, and it can be almost impossible to eradicate from the area once it has taken a hold. Its powerful, determined spirit teaches the importance of tenacity and effort and provides the stamina and life force to achieve things weaker spirits will not even attempt. As useful technique to try with the Muin or the blackberry is to journey or visualize yourself as becoming the blackberry or the wine and connecting a variety of the trees influence. When this things has been practiced a few times, it is possible to extend the exercise and try with a group of trees simultaneously. This powerful exercise can also be quite grounding and develop skills in working multidimensionally with a wide community of energies. Its binding abilities are also useful on card magic and binding spells of many kinds, yet its friendly uniting capability makes it less suited for spells of negative intention. Blackberry leaves are often used in the search for money and abundance as well as a healer. One simple technique is to write your name upon a leaf in the felt tip pen, when wrap it in the deep blue cloth and leave it in your purse wallet. The blackberry leaves, dried and powdered, are also used in the incense for prosperity and protection. Blackberry is used for a great many protective spells. Blackberry is excellent fruit to make a wine and preserves, and it's traditional to eat blackberry pies or crumbles during the harvest festival of Lusana if they ripe in the time and in the autumn equinox. So that one is quite powerful. And in the Ogham divination meaning, As in Ogham, mowing the blackberry shows that the harvest you have sown is coming in due course, and the fruits of the plants are always in their timeless and in the quality put into the achievement. It is a kindly Ogham, revealing the bounty of the goddess Nature herself, which gives out to this in need, and this have plenty that deserving and undeserving is in equal share. Mind concerns itself with the spiritual nature of life and earth and the human existence. Other things come around, good and bad, and these things which need learning or attending to will have another chance at a later time if a present opportunity is missing. These things are here now, and will is also need maintaining into the future. These are the challenges of being alive in space and time. So this is your bloodline. That looks like a very important one, and maybe actually something important to do. And the next one we have ivy. We are getting into the trees which are actually quite interesting. Ivy. Here we go with ivy. And ivy right here. It's similar to the previous one, but it's simply having two lines. This one. And ivy. This is the ivy. We have two lines, not one. And just get me a second. I will just lock my window and we're getting into the ivy. So ivy this time. And as I mentioned, I might actually finish this group and need to go because it's quite late for me, honestly, it's very late. And once I will be doing that, next stream I will have, I am not sure if tomorrow, but I will try tomorrow and continue with the other rooms because there's too many rooms for us to cover today. So we have ivy. And ivy is often identified with immortality, resurrection, and rebirth due to this ivy spiral growth, often connected with the wild or fae characters. Ivy crowns were worn by the Greek gods Dionysus and Bacchus, who are associated with the wine and revelry, as well as the forces of the nature. Ivy is also associated with prophetic intoxication, sometimes very important in the classical world, as well in the Iron Age druids. The priests of Bacchus are thought to have drunk a poisonous entheogenic portion of ivy leaves, pine sap, and fly agaric mushrooms, which leads them to have ecstatic visions. Don't try that, kids. Don't try that. Ivy wreaths were once worn in the classical world as a sign of intellectual accolade, as well as for naval purpose, and in this tradition was continued in the modern Welsh national ancient form. In the 19th century, the Ivy Bush Inn at the Camargue hosted the first Druid ceremonies, which honored the cultural achievements, and ivy wreaths were handed out to the winners. As is already seen, the ivy represents the spiral path taken through the life, and the longer the road through the life and death to return again. This soul journey is reflected in the road the ivy takes, and it grows on and between the trees in the woodland, and this may well be a major reason for the inclusion in the Ogham. It is the head-shaped, and this can also leave us many clues to the nature of and its usefulness to us. That we both supports and its supportive binding together and united many other beings wrapped in its gentle embrace. Interestingly, when the ivy grows on its own along the ground, it's far weaker than when it climbs and grows in union with the other plants. Again, this is a good lesson for humans who are similarly weakened by isolation and enriched by existing as a part of community. The ivy is excellent ally to develop wisdom in social skills and harmoniously bind communities as well as magic related to connectivity and the group matters. It teaches that we need others' support and shelter as well as the importance of giving support and shelter to the others. Ivy was also thought to protect cattle from enchantment by the fairies and was worn by milkmaids for the same reason. Ivy is under the rulership of the planet Saturn and is used for the binding spells and underworld connection and is associated with the Egyptian god Osiris as well as the ancient Greek bard Orpheus' journey into the Hades. In binding spells, ivy fruit are good substitute for cords or trees, and the spirit of the plant may assist you in the magic it feels, if it feels your aim is just. Ivy is often worn or carried to ensure fidelity between partners as well as to grant fertility, particularly to elder women. Ivy swept around an area is said to clear away negativity as well as bring good luck. Growing ivy from the wall of a house is said to bring a wealth and bind the family together. Ivy's connection with intoxication continued through into the Saxon area, where it was used to flavor ale and clarify as an alternative to hops. It was thought to be good for the health and elevate hangovers. But again, ivy can be poisonous, so please don't try that unless you know what you are doing. And into the Ogham, this is the last one here. As Ogham guard, the ivy indicates that the good support is available and reminds you that none of us were ever meant to be isolated or removed from the loving ties that connects us to the others. Its spirit form reminds us of our soul journey through the infinity and the balance between the sun and the all-world collective infinity. The ivy cautions us against holding on so tight and smothering others and reminds us that we're safe to go with the flow. It teaches that love and the connection are our greatest gifts. Sacred to the gods of revelry and the world, it reminds us of our natural selves and of our natural inheritance to find our place among all people and the universe as a whole. Sacred to the goddess of the moon, it also reminds us to the gentle, all-embracing side of the goddess that understands the subtitles of the human genre and reminds us to view ourselves and the others with the compassion. None of us ever comprehend the true mystery of life. It is a journey we children and question we children ask. What we all can do is appreciate the effects of the unknown and unknowable upon us, and value ourselves to each other, the humans who are being and becoming, reaching the finish in the perfect creation. It is the compassion and the acceptance of our human condition that can unite us all. So this is the art. That looks very interesting. Now we have um, room. Room or fair. Okay, so here is I think it's enough. Now these sentences are a little harder to think. again. We're just getting it sealed as we did before. And it works. Okay, so this is the end. Not sure how to see it. So this is the one. Sorry, I just need to open the window because like this. And we don't want the lizard kitten to be sick because he's running all over here. So we have that one, the metal broom or fan. Metal is an organ that is interpreted in many ways in the modern times, and there is an argument about whether it represents the broom, the fern, or a rare occasion of the dwarf elder. This conclusion is because the remaining source material attributed to the different trees to nectar. I will skip you some parts of that. And, as I said, I'm not going to read all the book, so I'm just skipping. The Celts had many techniques. Herbal lore and surgery were both practiced together with the healing incantation. There were plenty of the female as well as the male heroes who were held in the high esteem by their tribes. Later in the Celtic Christian times, we know of one of the Brehon Lastret, the Judgment of the Dian Tech, named after this mythical divine healer, which related the practice of medicine and medical practitioners. And central to the work of the healer and magical practitioner is his understanding of the hygiene, physically and energetically, which is keeping a space our bodies and our psyches and energy fields clear from the negative influences we become lost, disempowered, and likely to sink into the negative behaviors and feeling ourselves. We may even become ill on the physical or even soul level. This occurs we must have Kulan's advice and accept that it is a time for the beginning of the slaying, sometimes translated as the beginning of the heroic deeds. We must challenge ourselves. Sorry, we must challenge ourselves and assume that this is the time for us. We are also challenging any negativity around us and make the way clear once more with a decisive, bold, and sometimes brave action. We must leave inertia, illness, wrong deeds, and empty romance behind to set ourselves to the right path once more. As a cleanser and clearer of negative energies, as well as a powerful teacher, plant, and ally, it can be seen as these qualities of the broom are essentially on the path of healing. Without knowledge and the ability to clear the wounds or disease, no healing can take place. In this ability that this is the panacea for all illness that Moraine refers to, as well as the substance of the leeches, healers, as it was the healers acknowledged that literally fed and clothed them and lived their value amongst their people. Ferns, one of the oldest families of plants on the earth, are excellent plants for camouflage, hiding even large animals in its foliage, and it has long been considered to lend invisibility to this lucky enough to have possession of its magical and elusive seed. This reputation survived well into the recent centuries. Like the broom, the fern can raise the life force, and the male fern was considered to be aphrodisiac. However, the fern also have the magical reputation of being able to uncover secrets, to find the secret or hidden knowledge, For this reason, it is also useful in seeking wisdom and divination. The moonward fern was said to have magical influence over metals. In searching to unlock, it was said to be able to unlock it, another form of discovering secrets. Nectar is the first composite letter of Ogham, the only one in the first and the earliest 20. It teaches of important qualities needed to be in the spiritual and magical quest. Psychic and psychological hygiene, flexibility, clarity, and resourceful initiative combine to make wisdom, not a passive thing, divorced and remote from the world, but grounded and applicable thing, one whose realm is that everyday world, the negotiation of the life's wide obstacles. To achieve this is to truly attain a magical treasure within, whereas in the other worlds, manifesting the effectiveness and healing abilities of the warrior physician. Broom is highly magical plant as well used in making brooms or besoms. It can involve the air spirit, linking it again with ideas about clear thinking and communication. Broom is used to sweep or blow any negative energies. Throw broom into the air to raise the winds or burn it and bury the ashes to quieter them. Gather broom twigs, bound with ivy or red strips, and make simple hand vessels for the magical purposes, or combine with the birch twigs for traditional witches' broom. The broom flowers can be used for blessings and protection of sacred spaces or hung in the corners of a room or any shadowy area that feels stagnant, such as fireplaces in summer. As already discussed, the fern can be considered to be a highly magical plant, considering invisibility upon those who gather at its feet and protected by fair spirits as well as the other side. Ferns also can make excellent protection for animals in the wild, shielding small mammals from predators. These two aspects practically and magically intertwine into the lore of the fern and were not of use by hunters and later poachers who sought out their prey without being discovered by animals or fellow humans. And many get Ogham now, as of making that a little faster. As an Ogham, Nettle increases resourcefulness and independence. Nettle reminds us of the importance of combining skills and knowledge for the best end and being resourceful and flexible in our thinking and approach to life. Like the web of creation itself, Nettle draws from many aspects in the areas, maximizing the uses of always the plating noting. In this way, knowledge is discovered, maintained, and preserved for future generations as well as future steps along our own path through life. This also encourages the seeker to think outside the box as well as to maintain clarity of purpose and energy hygiene. Nathan also encourages the seeker to be discreet, ensuring broadcasting their knowledge, choosing only suitable people and places, and being conscious of the effects and consequences of the disclosure. In this way, nothing is lost, yet new ground may be still discovered. So this is the method. And we have the next one, Blackthorn. We're getting back to that in a second. I mentioned I will finish this group, then we have two more in this group, and then finish this stream because I will need to run out. But for now, I need to just getting more drink, so please stay with me for
Okay, and I am back to all of you.
And we are getting to the next one. We have two left for tonight. And blackthorn.
Black, black, black. That reminds me of black. No. Okay, blackthorn. And again, zooming it.
And we're getting into blackthorn. This is the room. Here, the forest. And we're getting over here. So, the blackthorn now. We're just going to go on with this and one more and then finishing. Okay, so blackthorn, and here we go. The strife means the sulfur, a substance with a long history of association with the underworld as well as the Christian Hell. This is highly important in the study of alchemy. Other translations hold the name of the blackthorn fluid, the sloe, as the word slay are connected. Okay, what else? The blackthorn association with the death, battle, and transformation can also be seen in the three colors that are found in it: red, black, white, spirit, and the black death. The white of the flowers, the red sap together with the black bark. This associated blackthorn with the triple goddess, and in this especially sacred to the Irish goddess of the Morrigan, the Great Queen, who oversees the matter of war, death, and sexuality. Blackthorn is usually thought of a sister tree to the hawthorn, and was sometimes used as substitute for the hawthorn tree as a maypole during the May Day birthday celebrations. At the New Year, crowns of the blackthorn were sometimes burned as charms, and their ashes scattered to fertilize the fields. Blackthorn is one of the first trees to blossom at the end of the winter before its leaves even unfold, and this associated it with the crown or the goddess known in Scotland and Ireland as the Cailleach or Cailleach Bur, the woman of the winter, and also with the fertility endurance even to circumstances. Fall springs, when the other plants are the tree blossom late, used to be called blackthorn winters. Blackthorn is also said to be sacred to the Irish god of death, Donn of the Milesians, as well as being used to curse and discipline the testing qualities of the blackthorn as a control chaotic and chthonic forces, hence its association with the dead. There's a strong connection in Celtic lore between underworld and the dead and the fairy races. In the Irish, the word "scythe" means ancestor, fairy, and hollow here, the burial mound in which they were said to dwell, which functioned as an entry point into the other world. Blackthorn is always associated with the traditional witchcraft and were used in the black magic or black or blasting rod one, tipped with the blackthorn horns, which were very long and sharp. These rods were used for cursing, but blackthorn tools have applications for healing rather than the acupressure, like the acupressure needles. and when used on the puppets or dolls made of cloth or wax, used to represent the particular person in the distant killing. Sadly, the association of the blackthorn, the black magic, also leads to superstition when the Christian devil was said to prick his initiates on the finger or shoulder with a blackthorn needle, leaving a witch mark. In Ireland, it was considered taboo to burn blackthorn wood and was classed in the Brehon laws as with the fodla feather or the lower classes of wood, useful for field boundaries and hedges. However, it is mentioned in the "Song of the Forest Trees", part of the Middle Irish tale, the tragic death of the Fergus MacLair, at the Sutherly Blackthorn, a wanderer, a wolf, that the artificial burns not, through his body, to it beats scanty bears in their flux fibre. And the magical uses. Considered to be under astrological rulership of Scorpio, Pluto, and Mars, blackthorn wands are extremely powerful, but are also safely used by these with extreme clarity and experience, as the energies they invoke are really not to be controlled but rather allied with only when justly in need. They need to be cued or gathered by the person intended to use them, and great care and respect should be involved in preparation. Be sure that you work with the highest intent, lest the blackthorn turns against you. Be sure to have learned from the lesson of the Nemktal, the bone first, so that you have a good energetic and magical hygiene and clarity or purpose, and have learned how to responsibly wield the power of blackthorn may grant you if you are worthy. The testing and initiative leads the seeker closer and closer to the karmic issue, to the relationship to the transformation of spirit after death. And the blackthorn might help you initiate changes in ourselves and our circumstances, making archetypical magical swan capable of making great shifts on reality. Magically, blackthorn boughs can be burned as an offering to the sun at the winter solstice, as a sign of the end or beginning of the winter king. It also can be used to honor the wild hunt and the Samhain, particularly to help guide on these who have faced from one life to death, but might have also difficulty moving on, in which case extreme care, caution, and respect should be used. Practically, it's not surprising that the blackthorn was traditionally used to make fighting sticks, given its fierce nature. The juice of its fruit was used also as an ink. That's pretty dark tree, I have to say. And let's go ahead. We have yet the definition meaning of that one. And the definition meaning. As an Ogham, strike the blackthorn reminds us of the magic and nature of the universe, and that wonders are normal reality of the world. Accepting the darkness, the first step to enlightenment, giving balance and clarity to see and acknowledge our pains and the difficulties, and paradoxically leading us back into the light. Through the challenges are we born anew. After the maturity lessons of the broom, the blackthorn gives our true power and the ability to wield it. Strive, the composite of S for sail, the willow, and the T for the time, the holy, show that this is the combination of the movement to and from the other world, as seen in the willow, together with the energy, vital force of the holy. The movement of the energy from the source to the outer world is the magic, St, the blackthorn. This can be only helped by the gaining wisdom of the initiation into love, which is the greatest test for us. If we are worthy, then the power is ours. And the last one we have the elder, the sweet elder. So that's the last one. And we'll be also bringing it some more energy. It's great. I need to find a good piece for that. No, all pieces are actually something I want to use. They are hard to paint on if they are not clear enough.
Okay, so that is the other one. That's the last one for today. And that's this one. This is the other one. And as I mentioned, the last one. The elder has a special place in the human mind for millennia, and that we already know. As a guardian and protector of the tree and its surrounding area, the elder mother in form of a Jamie Lossy or local goddess. So I have many mentions. Actually, when I'm looking into this, it's like we are having mentions of Scandinavia, but also Denmark and other ones. In general, the elder is connected with the mother energy. So any motherly goddess can be represented by the elder. The elder tree is also sacred to the corn goddess Hecate, and the elder is also known as elder due to its association with corn goddess, especially the Kalia, the wise woman of the winter. So again, we have the feminine energy here. It is said that the sound of the elder is mainly hallucinogenic to there is a little proof of this. However, the tradition states that the sleeping beneath the branches of the elder grants the access to the other world, sometimes even physically. To become worthy of the term elder is not about age, but also about the responsibility, the fulfillment of duties and responsibilities to all communities and the loved ones, acquiring the wisdom and insight to support and guide future generations. The magical uses. The elder is very useful for spells of closure and banishing. Its dried and crushed leaves are a good addition to the incense used at the summit, and for clearing negativity as well as the other physical times, such as the births and marriages, where the protective energies come to the fore. Alder is also one of the best trees to use for working with the fairies and attracting other nature spirits. As the flowers water, especially that made with the spring water or dew, can be charged up in the light of the full moon and used for the beauty spells and for the connection to the goddess and the fairy queens. Used to wash your face, anoint your eyelids, or drink with a blessing. Elder peach can be soaked on oil and burned in bowl as a lamp for magical purposes, but should be used with the great care only when the permission of the tree has been granted. However, the wood burns very poorly, and the wood or inner peach should be only used in the special circumstances for magical uses, and even with the extreme care and respect. Both flower and fruit can make excellent jams, wines, and teas. Elder whistle can be also used to attract the fairies and the air spirits. And elder, the meaning, this is the last one. As an organ in magical or divination, rules the elder shows the need to sacrifice in order to gain in the long term. It reveals the need to balance energies in order to restore equilibrium, health, and the well-being, as well as the need to correct mistakes and the wrong deeds in order to save from blushing, embarrassment, and shame, as well as the right of the wounds. It also reveals the possibility of forgiveness and redemption in these circumstances if right action is taken to restore and repair the situation. Often this means cooling the anger of and resentment, and the cool head of wisdom reflected in the cooling effects of the flower have the feverish in the body. So within, so without. So cool calm thinking will often guide the way out of the troubles, and the hot headedness in the conscience can unwillingly flee. Dagger encourages us to face our shadow selves and come to the state of peace with our less graceful or positive aspects. It reminds of the need to be responsible, to be upright, honest, and honorable. It can also show the time has come to move from one phase of life to the next and move through the transition with the great peace and honor. On its deepest levels, the elder shows the presence of the ancestry and the guidance, as well as counseling proper conduct necessary in order to work to join the ancestors in the time. So that is the elder, that is the last for this part. We have two more groups, but I am not going into that today. I already quite late and need to run out. But I am going to get one more card archetype for this part, and the next time I will be just simply starting from this group reading. I hope I will have time to do that at the evening maybe, but right now I will need to go. So we are going here. The archetype of the elder is the creator. The elder and the group of it. So the creator. So this is the archetype you must be learning from these 5 traits we're talking about now. Become your own creator, connect with the creator energy, connect with both masculine and feminine energies which are needed in order to create some sort of a change for you. So by actually trying to work with these energies, trying to bring this creation to life, trying to bring also the earthly energies, because the energy of the earth is also considered here to be important, and that might be actually something really, really important for all of you, and trying to join this energy, trying to join the positive changes in your life. So create your energy, create whatever you need, become the creator you are. As you will go from this first runic ones, uh, first runes, first was the mystic, so connect with your mystical energy, then there was the star seed, connect with your original self, and now become the creator, bring this change, bring whatever you want into your life. So that will be all for these 3 groups of the Ogham runes. We still have more to do, but as I mentioned, I need to go right now. This was a very long stream for me alone. And okay, I will invite you for joining our Discord. You can find that in About Us. And again, I will continue in the future on the Ogham runes. So thank you for joining and see you